Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, and something on tour to the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you on a Let's Play episode of Under the Bridge. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. After a moment. There we go, okay. Alright, let's do it, y'all. Alright. Oh well, you pull out your phone and pass some time with the help of a crossword puzzle. There's no single sign or billboard that welcomes visitors to the Groves. There isn't a clear divide or line or barricade that separates it from the rest of the world. To know you're in the Groves, you have to keep an eye open out for the gradual shifts in the environment. You need to observe how the wild grasses and pines that overtake the edges of the highway grow further apart, becoming replaced by rolling hills of mowed grass and willows or oaks. If you don't pay attention, you'll miss how a sidewalk suddenly appears along the road, and not long after that, pedestrians. Trucks and vans that frequent the highways of America are replaced with sports cars and electric vehicles. Where have they gone? Clearly not here. The stretches of road become shorter, chopped up by crosswalks and stoplights. The pauses give you time to take in the nearby landmarks. The familiar burger and taco chains you've seen all your life are nowhere to be found. Instead, you're surrounded by bakeries and coffee shops and boutiques you've never even heard of before, let alone visited. You're in the Groves now. You can't pin exactly when you got here, but you know you're here all the same. Cherry leans against the window, excitedly looking out and taking in all there is to take in. Someone like her could feel right at home in a place like this. Hank is too focused on navigating the twisting roads and swerving around filthy jaywalkers to truly appreciate the surroundings. Tuh! Parking is gonna be a pain! Hank cranes his neck around, reading all the nearby street signs and searching for signs that could lead to a vacant parking spot. There was a grocery store back there with a huge lot, and we could just park there and walk. Why would we do that? The restaurant has a valet service. Hank scoffs. I'm not letting some kid drive my truck around. Hanky, I can assure you the professional valets know what they're doing. Besides, valet service is part of... Oh, there! He yanks on the steering wheel, hurling the truck across 2 lanes and into the parking lot of a smoke shop. The sudden swerving of the car throws you against the passenger door. The impact is followed by another as Cherry flies into you, crushing you between herself and the door with a resounding splat. Ah! Not a moment later, the truck screeches to a halt. The force throws you forward into the choking grip of your seatbelt straps. Ah! When the truck stops moving and the dust clears, you and Cherry orient yourselves. It would be quite a shame if we were to die before arriving at the restaurant. Real, Hank, have you lost your mind? Dude, this parking spot is gold. Look how close we are to the restaurant. Was it really worth killing ourselves over? Yeah, definitely. You stumble out of Hank's truck. Cherry comes out right behind you. Oh wow, he's right. You're just across the street from the restaurant. You see a booth for a valet service, open patio seating, a fountain. There's not anything on display that sets this restaurant apart from the countless others you've seen on the way here. If it wasn't for the sign in front of the valet service with the Lepage printed on it, you would have easily missed this place. I don't see why we couldn't have just done valet service. Same difference, right? We're just across the street, and with that shortcut we took, it was just in time for our reservation. I suppose. She starts forward towards the restaurant. You and Hank trail behind her. Just shortly after, Hank grabs you by the shoulder in surprise. Booby! Cherry snaps back around to scold him for such a random and crass remark. Hank! He points up at the roof of the restaurant. Oh wow, boob! What are you two? She turns to look at the restaurant, then she turns back to Hank. Okay, please don't do that once we're inside. Well, come on, you can't have a booby as a roof and not expect me to point it out. If they didn't want people making booby jokes, they shouldn't... That is a booby. They shouldn't have made the roof a booby. It even has like a nipple. Oh my god, that's so stupid looking. She keeps staring at him silently. Okay, I won't say anything dumb inside the restaurant. Thank you. She turns around and continues her march into the restaurant. Hank follows, looking partly wounded. It definitely is a booby, though. He snickers. You think it gets taller when it's cold outside? You playfully push him and continue joking about the boob roof with hushed voices, as to not annoy Cherry again. You and Hank walk side by side, shadowing Cherry as she leads the way into the restaurant. You have to weave through various couples and families waiting outside the front, but you quickly find yourself in the restaurant's lounge. It's a small room. There's a podium opposite the entrance, manned by a sharply dressed person, and that's the only thing worth regarding in this room. In fact, the emptiness of this room makes up for its small size. There aren't even people in this supposed lounge. It makes you wonder what the function of this room even is. As you approach the podium, you hear a clamor behind you. A couple crashes through the doors behind you into the lounge. They're a sharply dressed pair, clearly mature and sophisticated, but not quite aged. They apologize and excuse themselves as they weave around your party and over to the podium in the lounge. The host bows and greets the pair with a warm smile. Good day. Do you have a reservation? Her voice seems bubbly. Let me go back. Good day. Do you have a reservation? Her voice seems bubbly and playful. Yes, it's under Allsworth. The host drags her finger along a ledger, then stops. I see. There's a reservation for 2 under Allsworth for 11:30. Yes, that's us. The host points a pin over the clock on her podium. I'm afraid it's currently 11:32. Right, well, some jerk stole our parking spot across the street, and perhaps you could have employed the use of our fine valet service. We'll keep that in mind for next time. I suppose you'll have to. Would you like for me to schedule your reservation now? The earliest availability we have is on the weekend. Surely our table is still available. We're only 2. Her smile is gone. Her tone is cold, as if she's been transformed into a totally different, darker person. 3. 3 minutes late. Oh, come now. You're joking, right? Sir, if you're not looking to make a reservation, then I'm going to have to ask you to leave. There are other, more punctual patrons I must attend to. Now, I know the table is still available. There's no way someone came in and stole the table from under us. It's our anniversary, and I demand that you... The host loudly snaps her fingers, shutting up the man. The sound sends a chill down your spine as it echoes across the chamber. A moment later, 2 large men in suits spawn from a nearby corridor and stand on each side of the gentleman. He stammers, but is too intimidated by the goons to actually say anything complete. The host starts again with a smile and deceptively bubbly tone. Have a nice day, and I wish you two a wonderful anniversary. With a wave of her hand, the goons escort the confused patron off the premise. His partner follows behind him from a distance. As they're ushered out of the building, you hear the man stammer and try to reason with the goons. They're unmoved by his bargains and pleas. Hank is visibly disturbed. You'd be concerned as well, but Cherry seems unshaken. Her resolve inspires confidence in you. Good thing we took the shortcut, huh? I'll say. Cherry skips up to the podium, greeting the host with a nod. The host returns with a nod when gestures a sign of warm welcome. If you didn't witness her fury just a moment ago, you wouldn't have guessed that she was capable of such a disposition. Good day. Do you have a reservation? Yes, we should be under Reyes. The host runs her finger along her book, just as with the last guests. Suddenly she stops and pauses before turning to Cherry with a pointed smile. Aha! We do indeed have a reservation under Reyes. For 2. Gulp. You turn to Hank. His eyes widen. You feel the chill of fear on your neck. Your sympathetic nervous system tells you now is the time for flight. But on second thought, maybe that wouldn't be such a bad idea. If you leave, then Cherry and Hank can resume with their scheduled plans without issue. Surely the host won't mind if you just disappear, right? You tap Cherry on the shoulder. Hey, Cherry, if it becomes an issue, I can just wait outside. Cherry raises her hand, stopping you from saying more. Nonsense, let me take care of... Hank utters a sharp gasp and slides past you and Cherry up to the podium. Dude, no way! Is that what I think it is? Hank hones in on the host's small finger. She's wearing a cheap-looking ring. Hanky, let's not bother her. That's a Legion Showdown Championship ring. They give those out to the top-placing teams at LST every year. You barely know what Hank is talking about. Legion Showdown is some terrible competitive team video game he tried to get you to play back in high school. You never got the hang of it, but it looks like Hank was invested enough to keep up with the competitive scene. The host's violent smile holds, though she hides her ring with her other hand. Holy shit, what place did you get? I watch the Nationals every year. I must have caught your game. The host stammers and looks around. She's at a loss for words, but it's hard to tell if it's because she's uncomfortable or because she's bashful. At last, she mutters under her breath, "A second." Oh my god, you're in Team Clutchfire? Ash, did you hear that? Her team was second place in the World Series. Her cheeks turn flushed, and she hides her face behind her bangs. Well, not the World Series, it was just the Nationals. Can I, get your autograph or a picture with you? Her face steams with embarrassment. She's struggling to even look straight at Hank. No one's ever... Suddenly, she shakes her head before turning back to Hank and addressing him directly. I'm sorry, but your reservation is for 2, and there are 3 of you present. Oh, yeah, dude, real sorry about that. That's totally my bad. Can we, reserve another table for 3, or are you gonna kick us out like that last guy? No, The host flips through her book back and forth a few times. Something tells you she's not actually looking for anything, and is just fidgeting with the pages instead. I mean, we don't have any available tables inside for today. Hank groans, turning his head down in defeat. But I think I can find something for you guys outside. Cherry turns to you, pleasantly surprised. Dude, that would be so cool of you. She scribbles something down quickly before snapping her fingers to summon a waiter. Are the staff trained to respond to snap by their tone? Just follow them. You're an inspiration, dude, seriously. Don't mention it. She clears her throat as she passes a set of menus to the waiter, then she returns to her station. The waiter gestures you to follow. Hank steps aside, letting Cherry go first. Cherry waits for the waiter to pull out her chair before sitting. Hank doesn't. You reach for your seat, only to have a waiter grab it before you. They pull it out and allow you to take your seat. A squad of waiters dress the table with plates and silverware as you sit. They move like clockwork, weaving around and behind each other in unison. They lay out 3 plates in front of you. 2 are stacked together and 1 is off to the side. The waiters also arrange a bunch of forks and knives out. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. They range from small and shiny to big and also shiny. As for what function each piece of silverware is used for, you haven't the faintest idea. Cherry places her napkin on her lap, so you do the same. Hank curiously looks over each of the various implements on the table before him. He carefully grabs his napkin as Cherry does. The waiter passes a few menus around before asking if anyone would like a drink. How does a bottle of wine for the table sound? No objections here. Do they do pitchers of beers here? She raises a brow at Hank. Do you think they have pitchers here? He sits up in his seat, scanning around the tables in the restaurant. Not a single one has beer in it, let alone a pitcher. Hank turns to the waiter, who just shakes their head sadly. Wine works too, I guess. Cherry takes that as her cue to place an order with the waiter. Anyways, what pinots do you have? The waiter lists off a selection of vintages. You lose track of them almost instantly, but Cherry still manages to pick them out. The waiter gives one last bow before leaving you. When they leave, you scan the menu. It's a single yellow card with a handful of entries on one side, nothing on the other. No pictures, no side section, no drink section, just cursive words denoting dishes, printed on a single textured card of paper. Is this the entire menu? There's only like 5 things here. Hank scans over his menu. He then looks up at you wearing a large grin. Oh, maybe before I look at mine. He slides his menu over to you. You briefly look over it. It's almost identical to your menu, except for some handwritten scribbles at the bottom. It's a signature, followed by a phone number and a username for what you assume is a video game. Very nice. Let me see. You pass it over to Cherry. She giggles when she sees the added details at the bottom. Well, aren't we popular today? I must admit, I never in 1,000 years would have thought your encyclopedic video game knowledge would save the day like that. I thought for sure we were going to get the boot. Yeah, this is adorable. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!